You will be accepted. Work hard, put your all into this application. Do not hit submit until you have read your application front and back at least twice. What's going on, future docs in the building, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hello, welcome. My name is Kristyn and I will be starting medical school this summer. So today, you guys, I have a special treat for y'all. When I was applying to medical school, I did not come across a video like this, so I figured, why not? I'm gonna just give it all to you. I'm showing you guys my entire AMCAS application. I'm giving you guys full access to my application. No one has seen this application besides myself, besides other schools that I applied to. So y'all getting all the tea. I'm dropping all the gems. I'm exposing myself, but it's okay. It's to help you guys out. But I need you to do something for me real quick. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. You might as well. I'm giving y'all all these gems and you can help me out. Just hit that subscribe button. Okay, thanks. I'm gonna give you a second. Maybe you may be contemplating it, you know, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna just trust that you did it, and if you didn't, then you know God's watching you. But all right, so before we hop into this application, I just want to tell you guys the purpose of this video is to show you, one, what an accepted application looks like. And I want to also show that applications are not perfect. My application is not perfect. It is unique to me. It tells a story about me and my journey. So now, let's hop into this application. As you can see, here is my application. And I did take out, of course, my personal information for privacy reasons. But I did keep my first name just so y'all know that this is indeed my application, okay? So before I start scrolling, I want to take a look at the submission date. I submitted my application July 16th. A lot of people would say that this is late. I am not too proud about when I submitted my application, but I do want you guys to see that, yes, even though I did submit my application in July and not in June, I was still able to get a seat at a school. So I encourage you all to apply as early as possible, but do not sacrifice the quality of your application to get it in early, because at the end of the day, it really matters what's in your application and not necessarily when you apply. Okay, so we're gonna scroll down. More info. Of course, I blocked all of that out. I don't need you guys knowing all my personal information. Okay, academic record. Here we go. So freshman year, for those of you who are not aware, I started off college as a pre-physician assistant major. I had the intention of earning my master's in physician assistant studies, and I went to Howard for this reason. Other reasons as well, but academically speaking, I went to Howard for the PA program. So a lot of the classes within my first 2 years are specifically for PA school, but they do overlap with the requirements that you need to get into medical school. So my first semester, I think I did, you know, your girl did all right, you know. Your basic college algebra, biology, psychology. I took microbiology as a freshman. Whew, that was rough, y'all. It was rough. But okay, we're gonna keep scrolling. Sophomore year, I killed it. Because listen, I was trying to get into this PA program, and you can't tell me nothing about my grades, so that's the least I could do. I'm gonna just go all out, and that's what I did. So sophomore year, 4.0, okay. Scrolling, junior year, okay, it gets a little rocky. Now I will say, none of my grades were bad, but the combination of A's and B's in certain areas definitely stood out. So you could tell my junior year, it was a transitional year, you know. I was introduced to nutrition. That was when I changed my major to nutrition. If you have not seen my PA to pre-med video, go ahead and click that right there, and you'll know all about it. So we have advanced nutrition. So that was more of like a biochemistry type of class, but nutrition focused. A lot of, B's started coming up a little bit. My last semester of junior year, I was like, whoa, physics that entered the mix. It was a lot, okay? It was a lot, but we did it. And then senior year, I said, listen, we going out with a bang. We are going out with a bang, and that's what I did. Organic chemistry, an A. Physics 2, an A. Like, I was not playing games, y'all. I knew what I wanted to do. I had to apply to med school. So I knew I had to get these grades. So we're going to keep scrolling. So these last 3 classes are classes that I took outside of Howard. So I took statistics and anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. And those were all summer classes, bro. So here's a recap of all of my grades for the semester. This is how you can really see that GPA trend that I say a lot, that I mentioned in my last video, what medical schools are actually looking for. So if you haven't watched that, then you definitely need to watch this after this video, because all the gems, all the tea, period. So as you can see, my science GPA was pretty lit. Started off with a 3.73. 2 years, my sophomore year and my senior year, were 4.0s. Now when I look at overall looked a lot better junior year. I took more of the B's that I got were more of science related classes. But all in all, my full GPA was a 3.8. Now according to Howard, my GPA was a 3.7. For AMCAS, all the classes that you have taken are contributing to your GPA, not just the classes that you took at one institution. At Howard, none of my classes transferred with grades. They just transferred the actual credit hours. So here we have my MCAT scores. I did take the MCAT twice. I also have a video on that. You know what? If this is your first time seeing me and my channel, like I said, hello, welcome. It's good to have you, because you came to the right place. I'm gonna need you to look at all these videos when we done, because you're gonna need it all. We really dropping gems, y'all. When I say gems, I mean gems. Quality, okay? So I took the MCAT twice. First time I took it, I got a 500, and it was I was in an awkward situation, because a 500 is average. It is literally dead smack in the middle of the entire range of scores. So it was hard. I was just like, do I want to take it again? I feel like I should. Considering the schools I wanted to go to, they were like, yeah, you should probably take it again, because their averages were more like the 510. So I did take it again about 7-8 months later, and I had a 5-point increase. So I took that and I was like, I'm not doing this again. Okay, so now experiences. These are very important experiences. And when showing you guys my experiences, I am being fully transparent. Of course, I'm not showing my contact information for whoever I had the experience with and their names and all that. We're not doing that. But where it was, what type of experience, and the number of hours. I'm doing this to also get rid of those myths that you guys have about, oh, I need 3,000 clinical hours to get into medical school. No, you don't. Promise you don't. So this first experience was what I did within the last year. So when applying, I actually had just started this experience. So in reality, I didn't do 15-30 hours already. That was just an estimate of what would be done a year from now. And I tell everyone to try to focus on the first 2 or 3 sentences, giving an actual description of what you did, but also following with what the experience did for you, what you learned from it, how will it influence you as you move forward within your career. I didn't necessarily do this. I didn't know all those things back then. I'm saying back then like that was a while ago. A year ago, I didn't really understand the importance of your experiences. Yes, the experience type, but not necessarily the description part. So throughout my application, you don't really see me talking about what I learned or what I gained. Like, I'm not emphasizing that so much. Sometimes I do touch on it a little bit, but it's really a job description and I'm not proud of it. So this first one was paid. It was like a public health research internship. The next one was AMEC, SNMA. If you do not know what the Student National Medical Association is and you are a person of color, I'm gonna need you to go Google that when you're done this video, because it's very imperative to your career. So this conference was freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, the best conference I've been to. That was my first medical conference. It was so empowering, so That's why it was my first most meaningful experience. So I talked about what I gained, how it impacted me, what I learned, how I felt within that conference, because seeing so many Black and brown people, y'all, all in medicine or striving to be in medicine is one of the most beautiful things I have seen in my life. Like, no cap. It was awesome. So moving forward, I also have some volunteer experiences. And when I did my experiences, I wanted to make sure that they were most relevant to this application. I learned so much from these experiences that are going to help me in my career. So I want to make sure that they're on the application, and I want to show what I learned, how I can reflect back on that experience. But I also want to show that I'm a well-rounded student. I'm very unique. I like different things. But all of these things coming together really influence my why and show that I'm really passionate and that I'm striving to be the best doctor I can be. So I have some community engagement on here. I have some research, bench work, and public health. I have the conference. As you can see, my bench work research hours were not a lot. This was my research coordinator or the homeless shelter that I worked in. And it was also a most meaningful experience. You have up to 3 most meaningful experiences. You need at least 1 and no more than 3. I did 2. I would recommend you just do all 3 unless you're trying to force it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to make something that it wasn't. If it wasn't that meaningful, then don't even bother. I feel like if you're passionate and if your heart is in it, you'll be able to show that on your application. But if it's not, it's going to be forced and people are going to realize that. Then I also have some shadowing. Y'all see that number? Shadowing, 16 hours. I did not shadow a lot, y'all. And I did more shadowing within this last year, but when applying, I did not have a lot of shadowing. I also have an award, highest scholastic achievement in nutrition. I just want a little more brownie points. I wanted to brag a little bit. Yes, I excelled academically, but even compared to the rest of my classmates, I was outstanding, okay? I have some hours from some more research. Also have leadership. I was secretary of a certain club at my school, so I talked about that. And another extracurricular activity. You want to show, like I said, that you're well-rounded. Even you can put hobbies on here. You can put publications. I didn't have publications. I felt as if my hobbies kind of went with my extracurricular activity, being that I was a college athlete. So as you can see here, women's bowling team, and I also mentioned that I was captain for 2 years to show a bit of leadership as well. And then I have some hours from volunteering at the hospital, and that is it. So those are my experiences. So now, guys, I contemplated this for a while. Should I show you guys my personal statement? Now, from experience, I really wanted an example of a personal statement, not to copy off of anybody, but just to see, like, how did you portray your why? Because so many people talk about what qualities should be in your personal statement, but I need an example. I didn't have one, so I just had to make do with my story and lean on faith. But I've decided that I will show you guys, and if you haven't subscribed by now, that's just selfish, man. But it's cool. I'm gonna still keep going. So I'm not gonna read it. It's up to y'all if y'all wanna pause the video, do whatever you gotta do. But I'm just gonna give, a brief synopsis of each paragraph. So my personal statement was about how I transitioned from PA school to pre-med, what influenced my decision. I had a professor that talked to me that really had me thinking about, like, what my purpose was. And so I talk about that. I talk about self-doubt, and I talked about how I want to be an advocate for communities who are underrepresented, who don't have a voice. Because if that person did not speak out for me, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's kind of what my personal statement was all about. So this first paragraph, I just talked about the beginning. I had it all planned out, literally. I was a sophomore in college, It was like my second semester. I had just got accepted into Howard's PA program, and I was on cloud nine. Like, I was lit. I knew I was going to be in school for 3 more years, get my master's, and boom, go right into physician assistant. But that's not what happened. So I talked about how they lost their accreditation, boom, boom, boom. I was forced into a period of overwhelming uncertainty. I didn't know what to do. I prayed on it. I'm not going to say that in here, but I prayed. Me and God, we had to talk, okay? Because I'm like, yo, what are you doing? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to still keep going with this degree. I'm going to just change my major, and I'm going to just go to another school to get my master's. So we can't do it in 5 years. We're going to have to do it in 6, so it's fine. Then a few weeks into my junior year, I came in contact with a professor. This is my first class with him, my first nutrition class, and I ended up having this professor for 3 more classes, and he also wrote my letter of recommendation, and I just talk about him in here because he was lit. But he was the first one to like challenge me. He was just like, why are you limiting yourself? Why are you not going to be a doctor? And I was like, stop yelling at me. He's a doctor as well. So I was like, okay, he might know what he's talking about, but I wasn't trying to hear that. So I talk about that. Cool. So then I just say how that really impacted me and how it contributed to my why. I want to give back to people just like my professor gave back to me. Not as if he did me, a certain service, but just his words, just how he felt about me and his honesty and transparency. I want that for my patients. There is little to no advocacy for people in my community, especially those who are sick and have illness. Education is very impactful, but it's not the only way to make change. People may know what they have to do, because people say if you know better, you do better. That's not always the case. What if you don't have the resources? So I want to increase health equity in my community, so I talked about that, and I ended off like, if it wasn't for the words of my professor, I wouldn't be where I am today. I want to be that type of figure for my community, and I feel like your school will help me do that and be a cultural competent provider. And that was my personal statement. So lastly, I had 5 letters of recommendation. So 2 of them were professors. Like I said, one of them was the professor from this personal statement. 2 of them were research mentors, and I had a supervisor. So one of the experiences that I marked off as most meaningful, I got a letter of recommendation from that. So that connection, I feel like if you want to emphasize something, talk about it more than once, get a letter of recommendation in that experience. And here are the schools that I applied to. These are the MD schools I applied to, and that was 10. So George Washington, Howard, Kaiser, Meharry, Morehouse, Rutgers, Sidney Kimmel, Brown, University of Maryland, and of course, VCU. So guys, that is my entire application. There you go. It is exposed, but I really hope that you guys could take something from this video. Remember that your application is unique to you. Your application will not look like mine, and that's okay. Be confident, believe in yourself. If you're a believer, God got you regardless. God got you. Have faith, pray, but also do. Faith without works is what? Dead. Period. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up because I put a lot into this video and I just exposed my whole life. So the least you could do is help your girl out by liking and subscribing. Okay, I mean, you feel me. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.